Greetings and welcome to this week's episode of Vampire the Masquerade Beyond Armageddon. Before we begin, I'd like to make a few announcements. First, we are proud to announce that Sabbat the Schism is officially out now. Not only does it delve into the history and lore of the sect, it opens up multiple role-playing options for fans of the game, including new playable clans, elder-level powers, and much more. You can find your own copy of Sabbat the Schism in the link below. Second, I'd like to thank RS Experiments, our local musical talent, for graciously providing the custom music you've been enjoying so far, including our awesome main theme song called Haven Dweller. If you enjoy any of the music used during the stream and you'd like to hear more, you can find a full library of Mark's work by clicking the link below to RS Experiments' SoundCloud page. Lastly, if you enjoyed tonight's session and you'd like to see more, be sure to follow both our channels. You can catch us live most Sundays at 7 p.m. CET by tuning in to youtube.com/@EriseGames or at twitch.tv/EriseGames. Alternatively, you can enjoy all our recorded sessions on YouTube. Links below. Remember to like, subscribe, and be sure to leave us feedback and suggestions in the comments below. We hope you enjoy the session, and without further ado, let us delve into the world of darkness in tonight's episode of Vampire the Masquerade Beyond Armageddon. As LA's nightlife begins, we join a vehicle as it drives down the streets of East LA through the various barrios and small businesses closing up for the night. We see Serena, Jack, and Jasper making their way to the usual small barrio where Victoria usually conducts business with the Sabbat within the domain. As there is still some time, they speak, planning what to do ahead of time.
Right, and so, Jack, what's your earliest encounter with Roarkin?
When they showed up at the hospital?
After killing your clan member, yes. So yeah, you talk about that. You talk about why Jim was killed, because I remember that Jim knew Rourke and Kean in New York, or was it Washington? New York.
New York.
When they were dead for the Sabbat, mingling. You speak of the attack on Isaac. You speak of the plan to bind others in a bloodbath in Mexico. And so on. Whatever comes to your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Jasper, would you be able to let us know that the coast is clear in the Shadowlands?
Sure thing. If there are any unusual ghosts around or any at all, I can.
I mean, you can look from this side, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
If
great.
you want to really clear the area as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Very well.
Jasper, you speak of your exposure to them from the Shadowlands, right? Remember, Olivia is Olivia, and Azra and Scylla.
Mm-hmm.
and so on.
Do I must tell every detail about
The
my...
Shadowlands? No. No, you just need to speak of the Talmahara.
Mhm.
Of their city hidden in the Shadowlands in a hard to access location. Of their interest and interference with takeover of Santa Monica. And so on. Right?
Right.
He might ask both of you whether I killed Father or not. You can
Again?
say yes.
Hmm.
I'll explain that it was necessary. I've also called Isaac, since he was victimized often too. And I hope Vicus is going to show up with that axe and some cavalry, maybe Jalan Jaf, but that they arrive incognito. Don't vex Victoria, right? After all, I was one who attacked Harvey. And you say the ways of the Malkavian are ineffable. But in service of the sword. Oh, right. You also remember that time when Kian cornered me.
After Cecil died?
Yes.
After Cecil died.
Yeah.
Speak of that offer. And I will fill in the rest of the story from the beginning. All right?
Sounds about right.
Just briefly, please. Before we go in, keep your eyes out straight. I mean, actually, you go first. You can then set a ward from Victoria's office. At her permission, of course. Well, absolutely requires that. And say what it is, that it's a ward to repel the spirits. Oh?
Very well. I'll do so. I'll set up a ward against raids.
But, let her know so that we don't...
Don't get
so
in
that we
troubles.
don't act rude. Well, so that we don't act rude. All right?
All right.
Now then.
Are we already close by the?
Yeah, we arrive at the building and we go out.
Okay, so I
Oh, and
am.
Olivia is with us as well. Miguel.
As
I
you
will.
Well, as you exit the car, first and foremost, you spot that at the usual spot where you would go in into the small apartment where you'd meet Victoria. At the door is Arturo, her child that you recognize from the altercations he had with Larry. as you approach, Arturo puts his hand up and says, "Where do you think you're going?"
In.
Not all of you.
Very
One
well.
at a time.
Jasper, you first.
We'll take Jack first.
Very well.
No, Jasper will go 1st.
We'll take Jack first.
Arturo?
Victorious orders.
No, I'm sorry, but I will have to say that will be better if it'll be Jasper, because Jasper can set up forts. And she leans against, unless you have this area warded against race, spirits, and things. This is for her own safety.
Wait here.
Go inside
Wait
and tell
here.
the Archbishop.
Hey. Wait here.
We're waiting.
And watch your mouth next time. And he steps into the apartment.
Mind your own business, fledgling.
He goes in, and you hear some very muffled speech before, oddly enough, actually, anyone with auspex may roll.
Nah. Well,
Perception
fine.
and
I
alertness.
activate my auspex. Do I need to roll with auspex 6? It's
Yeah,
difficulty.
same.
Nah.
Same here.
Yeah, so let's I'll just say, so basically what happens is, as you listen into the conversation, you hear Victoria's voice. You don't hear the words specifically. They're way too muffled. But you hear Victoria's voice. You hear Arturo's voice. And then you hear a third voice, only momentarily. It's far too fleeting for you to understand whose voice it is. But it's a male voice.
Jasper, if it's anyone
Yes.
but Vicus or Jalan, do not speak.
Can you
Oh, wait a
repeat it? Cutting it out.
If it's anyone but Vicus or Jalan, refuse to speak. All right?
All right. So.
Or rather, yeah, if you can't
Just refuse to speak.
Yeah, just basically, if it's one of them, and like, if it's someone we don't know, how would we know? Oh my god.
The vicious attacks of
Yeah.
Guru.
Yeah.
The Geru attack, surprise.
Right.
Yes.
Well, if it's somebody from Tamahara. She looks to Olivia quickly. Can you quickly look inside whose it is? I'll hold you.
Sure. Just
to peek through the
come here.
Through the wall.
And
Yeah.
Olivia essentially sits on the hood of the car. And has you sit next to them and put your arm over.
Yeah.
And Olivia leans her head on you and then closes their eyes. And you feel sort of the weight go onto you. And then come back, and Olivia jolts up and says, "Don't react. They're watching."
Who's there?
Ruark is in there.
Right, then change of plan, guys.
And as you say that, the door opens, and Arturo comes in, or comes out of the building. Right. Jasper, in.
Jasper
trust you.
looks at Serena.
Serena
Gives them
mentally basically says, if anything, let Eldest deal with it. Take over, okay? I'm sure he's more
You're
cunning.
speaking pretty low for me.
Basically, Serena telepathically just quickly tells you, let the Eldest guide you.
Jesper nods.
Don't speak of Talmahara, obviously. For obvious reasons.
Jasper, come on.
And Jesper starts walking into the room.
As you enter, Arturo closes the door behind you, leaving Serena and Jack outside. As you make your way inside...
Well, by the way,
yeah.
as he, as a final thing, if he asks anything about, if she's like, oh, why did Therese have this disease or shit like that, right? Claim that I wanted to convert her.
I mean, at this point, it's a bit, it's a bit late for you to say that. You should have said it earlier.
Oh, fine.
But yeah.
Let the eldest figure this out.
Yeah. So, Jasper, as you make your way inside, the door closes and locks behind you. And in front of you, you see Victoria sitting in her usual seat, flipping through the pages of a file. And next to her is Ruark, as if he just finished saying something and is simply waiting for you. Victoria, without looking at you, just beckons and continues flipping through the pages of the file.
Jasper would first of all give a small bow out of respect, and before he says anything, he would say, "Would you mind if I use some of my powers to see if there are no intrusive wraiths around, and perhaps I could ward against them here in your room?"
Victoria looks to you, then looks to Ruark, and Ruark does a slight nod, and Victoria simply gestures towards you and continues reading through the file.
Okay, so first of all, Jasper is going to look in through the other side to see what wraiths or whoever is in the other side in the Shadowlands that are watching, perhaps.
Okay. So as you watch, I will need you to please roll me courage. All right, you do manage to succeed this. So as you peer into the Shadowlands to look to the other side, first of all, the room you're in the Shadowlands holds far too many emotions and memories. Its scars within the Shadowlands are great, and thus the size of the room is deceptively large. It feels as it's the same room with the same size, but you are aware that it is much larger, almost as if your brain can't quite put together how much space is in that little space. There's a lot of room within that small space. And as you look, searching for any wraiths that might be, watching, not only do you see one or two wraiths, you see countless amounts of wraiths just watching you, and standing behind Ruark. And one of them looks to you with its pitch black eyes. Very clearly, you are We have some technical difficulties.
What difficulties?
Yeah, turn off your camera, please, because I didn't set the...
Oh shit. I accidentally turned it on.
It's all good. But yes. Due to your expertise, Jasper, you recognize this isn't just a wraith. It's a specter. And the specter simply looks to you and does this.
No, my question would be, would I know the specter to be, well, Rock's specter or someone's?
The way they're standing, you can put two and two together. These are probably Ruark specters. And it's like an army of them.
All right. Jasper looks to Ruark and says, well, apparently it has been very well taken care of on the other side.
I'm not quite sure I understand what you mean. But if you are sure it's safe, then we may proceed.
Very well. Where would you like me to begin?
Ruark simply nods towards Victoria. Victoria takes her eyes off of the file, closing it, and looks to you. I would like you to tell me where you and your pack were the night we lost contact with Javier.
With Javier? Well, all I can say is that I have seen a video of sorts. I was very busy, but at the time. But I heard and seen a video of, well, of his death. Though I don't know much of details, I was experimenting mostly.
So there is a video.
Yes, it was quickly taken down, but other than that, I don't know much more about it.
Would it be okay if I delved into your mind to see this video?
Yes.
You feel a slight pressure in the back of your mind. Do you allow it?
I allow it.
Mm-hmm. You see Victoria shift around in the chair and say, interesting video.
By the way, I'm still using, still being able to see the other side with my powers, technically, correct?
That's fine.
Since I didn't take out. So I would also think of all. I would show her just a little bit of the true Mahara and show the spirits around us so she can see as well.
Okay.
I wouldn't show too much other than that.
All right.
And
I need
hopefully,
you to... what's your willpower score?
my willpower is 7.
Yeah, so that's more than half, so I'll just take the success. Okay. So, Jasper, as you attempt to think of those things, you spot Ruark's slight smile, and for some reason you can't focus on those memories. After a few moments...
No. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, could I try, because technically Serena is nearby, could I try to talk to her, perhaps, using telepathy?
You may,
To-
though you have enough experience with Auspex that I would tell you, if you try to reach out with telepathy to someone else while Victoria is connected to your mind, Ruark as well, um, both of them will be aware of whatever you tell her.
Then never mind.
Okay. So as you're gonna say something?
No.
Okay. As you continue to try and show Victoria the truth and continue to fail to focus on it, Victoria then
Uh,
allows the connection to fade.
wait.
Yeah.
Uh, wait. I gotta ponder here for a second. Hmm. Could I try to reach the eldest through the blood without tipping them off, perhaps?
If it takes any sort of mental effort, they may be aware of that connection.
Mm.
Essentially, while the connection's there, whatever you do, they'll know what you're thinking, basically.
Okay. Then I guess I'll have to wait
Okay.
for
Well,
safety.
thankfully, after you remember the video, Victoria allows the connection to fade, though you feel somewhat of a tether still there. Not from Victoria, but definitely from Ruark. Victoria then leans back
Before the
and places the file on the desk next to her. Yes?
before they continue, I would say, well, since I showed everything, would you mind also Rourke leaving my mind, please?
Ruark, are you doing this? And Ruark says, only for safety. You can never tell what a betrayer might do to a high-ranking member of the Sabbat, so safety in numbers. But I will relinquish the connection, if you wish, Archbishop. Victoria looks to
Well,
you, and then to...
while this is going on, right? I'm gonna like turn to Olivia and basically telepathically ask her, "Is there? Do you
Can this
can you
wait
tell?"
until...
Okay, fine.
Okay,
But
thank you.
basically, I have a little bit to do with Olivia before. Um,
That's fine. We'll
yeah.
retract time a bit, and
Okay, sorry.
but
Yeah.
right now is Jasper's scene.
Mhm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
um, as Victoria considers Ruark's words and looks to you, I would like you to essentially make me a charisma and, let's say, empathy roll. Nice, nice.
Does Move Talker apply?
Yes, it does.
Yes, the four successes, maybe five.
Okay. So Victoria looks to you after considering Ruark's offer and says, relinquish the connection. I think we can trust him for now. And you feel that tether fade. Ruark makes eye contact with you momentarily before simply resting by. Victoria then leans back and continues, basically tossing the file on the a small table next to her chair. So, what can you tell me about your pack from that night? Where were they?
Well, we were at Santa Monica trying to, well, preparing for the attack. Though we did separate, so I cannot say much about most of them, but
So you're not aware
what I
of
can.
their whereabouts that night?
Well, I was aware where they would be, and since the plan worked in the end, they all did their part and stayed in their zones.
Good. You may leave.
As basically, while this is happening, I basically ask Olivia
Mm-hmm.
if she can, like, basically, like, so to say, feel what's going on there with Jasper.
Olivia turns to you and says, I can, but I don't know what kind of defenses they have up.
No, I just want you to, you know, like how Vicus can experience my memories.
That.
Would you be able to request that, whether there's, like, telepathic connection right now?
I can try, but
Just ask the eldest if I need to, basically telepathy, just ask the eldest if I need to put a memory thing on Jack.
um, Olivia looks almost basically looking up at the sky. Their gaze becomes almost infinite for a moment, and then blinks a couple of times and turns to you. Well, apparently I'm not allowed that information right now.
Oh, very well, best safe than sorry. And Serena turns to Jack and just quickly in his mind, she whispers, quickly to him, she whispers, on the night of Harvey's death.
On a night of what?
So she speaks it telepathically to him, and she says, on the night when Harvey died, you were scouting out the areas, like basically showing him like memories of the area where the whole thing was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like walking around, checking out things because she has like been and scouting that. So you were there checking out the like where we can stage our attack.
Roger.
Okay, and as you say this, as you
Telepathically.
yeah, as you are finishing this, your connection is almost interrupted by the surprise of the door opening and Jasper stepping out.
As soon as step out, I'm going to telepathy with Serena. I'm going to use telepathy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say something was blocking me from being able to think certain things.
Rurik probably.
Also, and he will show what the other side looks like, which is basically like an army of specters that Jasper by himself cannot deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Serena turns like basically like telepathically like ask Olivia, are you gonna be safe?
I'll be fine.
Good. Then I need to And I'm going to reach out, like mentally, to Malkov, right? Because generally, Cage of Secrets, right? I need time to prepare, and it would also affect Victoria, right?
We
So
had
I need.
discussed that this is something we would have prepared. We just never
Yeah.
made the roll. If you want, you can roll now, and we can just say you prepared earlier.
Would I have been told to go with Fog the Self too?
If you'd like, yeah.
Jack, you're fine.
Okay. Well, I'll leave you to it. And yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So
Uh,
5 successes on Cage of Secrets.
All right.
Yeah.
And
You do that, and I'll just go to my interrogation.
Yep. As so Serena, you can PM me how you distribute those successes.
Yeah.
Jack, you step forward, and Arturo simply sort of directs you in. As you go in, the door closes and locks behind you. You walk inside, and you see Ruark, who spots you with a slight smirk, and Victoria, who watches you with her hand firmly pressed on this file on the table. Jack?
Your Excellency? Like, proper nod to Victoria. Your Excellency.
Just a slight sassy nod to work.
I would like to ask you where your pack was the night of Javi's death.
I can speak for myself. I've been scouting intrusion points for Santa Monica.
Would you mind if I peered into your mind?
By all means.
You feel a pressure on the back of your mind. Do you allow it?
oh, and sorry, something that slipped my mind. ADHD. Like I would have added that Serena was over there, and like like in another area. Okay. What you know.
Do you allow
That's
the
truth,
pressure?
Yeah.
Yeah. Victoria's expression shifts slightly and says, "What were you doing that night?"
Looking for potential exploits in their defenses.
I see.
We were planning to attack for a long time. Since before Cecil's death.
Were you near Hollywood at all?
Not really.
All right. Lastly, and she opens the file, just peeking in, then closes it. Do you recognize a place called Vesuvius?
That's a club to my memory.
Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with the owner of the club?
Somewhat. I had a business deal once or twice. Nothing much, but...
All right. You may go.
So I'm gonna
Very well.
put 2 successes.
You can
On
PM
invade.
me
Mhm.
for that. Thank you. Right. And as you leave, and rejoin the others. Serena and Jasper, you see Jack exit, and as he steps out of the apartment, Arturo peeks in and afterwards closes the door and says, "You're gonna have to wait a bit."
Since I'm still seeing through the other side,
Mm-hmm.
how is the army of specters reacting?
They continue watching.
They're basically surrounding us, right?
Essentially, yeah.
Do the storm.
Don't tempt me.
Resist not the temptation.
But
Only the
Yeah.
indulgence.
I guess I'll be showing Serena exactly what the specters are doing at all times until she goes in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Miguel, I'm gonna go in next, right?
Well,
And
you don't know. Olivia's still
Yeah,
here. So
unquestioned.
we shall see.
well, when actually, it's okay. I can always basically fuck about with what he perceives. Arturo, I mean.
Okay, well,
She got
shortly
she
after,
got chemistry.
Arturo sort of, his attention gets caught by something. He seems to listen and then points to Olivia and says, "You're next." Opens the door, and Olivia looks back to the three of you, does a
I
slight
look.
nod.
I actually I telepathically reach out to Olivia, and I'm like, if I have currently Cage of Secrets on my mind, do you need protection or will you be safe?
I'll be fine.
Good.
And as Olivia steps in, and Javi closes, Arturo closes the door and locks it, the three of you are left outside for a moment.
I can eavesdrop. I'm not sure how safe it is.
We just have to trust Olivia. She'll be fine.
It's not about Olivia.
Jasper, through telepathy, asks Serena, should we be worried about, well, Ruark?
No, she's not. But the moment I'm going to enter, I will send a message, project a message straight to Victoria. That she not enter my mind, and that rather I connect. That way, if Rourke tries to see what I'm doing, he'll be quite shocked.
Hmm.
Oh wait,
And
actually, no, I can do something else, right? I have Way of Wind, right? Breath of Whispers,
Mm-hmm.
right? Mm. And I quickly check in with Olivia. How quiet is the Breath of Whispers?
So, quick detail about Breath of Whispers. Both parties must be, according to the text, outside, but the way I usually rule it is there has to be like connection in the air between the two of you. So it can't go through
Is there any?
walls. The
Is
door
there
is
any?
locked. As soon as the door opens, you can do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll do it when the door next opens.
Mm-hmm.
like when Olivia comes out, and I'll basically whisper, like pass a message to Victoria that I'll access, I'll basically telepathically project to you. Don't.
Well, think of what you're gonna say
Yeah.
and roleplay it at the time. Until
Yeah.
then, is anyone else having any talks?
Jasper asks Serena if she would like him to see what's happening in the room. It will be quick. He cannot hold her for too long because it could harm. Well,
Yeah. No, actually, I'm gonna check if there's any flowers in the room quickly.
None.
Heh.
would you like?
No, it's
Jasper?
okay. Let's not attract any attention, okay?
Well, it's not gonna attract attention.
No,
I'm
just
going
chill.
to-
Relax. Be calm.
Entirely up to you if you want to do it, Jasper.
Nah. If she says to not do it, I will not do it.
Okay. So, after a few moments, Arturo looks around and says, "Where's the holier than thou guy?"
No idea.
Somewhere.
Not suspicious at all.
He's a ravenous. Have you tried catching them?
Well, the request was sent to all of you.
Right,
Yes.
but he cannot sleep in the same place every night. And you know, Sabbat values freedom overall.
All right. What about Larry?
Larry is no longer with us.
What, the
He's
big lug got?
either way, it's let's just say. And she looks straight at him. And la la la.
Drops a
And I'm gonna do
dementation
dread
anvil on his
gaze.
head.
No, I'm gonna do dread gaze, and I'm gonna say, "Stop questioning me."
Dread gaze.
Well, he's gonna be like, I'm just basically want to cow him.
Okay, so for reference, dread gaze,
Mhm.
you don't control to which extent the person gets feared. And if it's like more than one
Okay.
success, he will be pushed to like
Okay, then
rot
I'm just gonna use command. I'm just gonna use command.
Okay.
Stop asking questions. That's a command, and then, but the rest is basically, who are you to question me?
Okay, roll for the command.
And ta-da. Where is it? Oh, here. Manipulation, intimidation.
Is that it?
No, wait, I haven't rolled yet, honey.
There you go.
What's his willpower?
That's fine. That's for me to know and you to
Okay.
find out. Okay, so you say you give him this command. Can I ask which word you put emphasis on?
Stop asking questions. It can be a short sentence.
Yes, but which word in that sentence?
Stop.
Okay. Arturo seems to open his mouth to speak up and then sort of like shuts it, pushing his lips together.
And I basically
looking
just
very
look at him
dejected.
with the entirety of my, like basically intimidation from my path.
Mm-hmm. At some point, he opens the door, and Olivia walks out.
Yeah, and that's when I basically quickly whisper, when I enter, pretend that you access my mind as you do with others, but don't. I will connect myself. I have a guard against him.
Okay. And as you walk inside, the door locks behind you. And you...
And I sit down.
Hmm?
And I sit down on the chair.
There is
Comfy, relaxed.
there's no chair
Okay,
for you to
fine.
sit.
I bow to the Archbishop.
Hmm.
Greetings, Your Excellency, Bishop Ruark.
As you bow down, the door closes behind you. You notice that Victoria is talking in hushed tones with Ruark, and they stop as soon as you bow. And Victoria says, "Where were you the night Javier died?"
I was scouting out the area of Santa Monica, as the rest of my team said.
Show me.
Very, very well. And I basically make a connection with her, and I do an info dump on the Isaac attack, Cecil's death, etc.
All right.
But very gently. And
there's no way
uh,
to do that gently.
no,
Come
no, no.
on.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I basically, as I'm showing it to her, as you can see, and I basically, as soon if before there's anything, right? I basically use passion to calm any emotions because this would be quite shocking, right? So that there's no emotional
you
feedback,
can't. You
right?
can only do one thing at a time.
I can't.
So
I'm
you
already
can
connected with
info dump, and as you're info dumping, she'll have a reaction, and you can then do what you want to do. If you do both at the same time, you might not get what you want. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm. Well, basically, I show her a bit, right? And then I just look to Ruark, right? I'm sure you also want to look into my mind, just to check. And I'm gonna use Sword of Malkuth.
All right. I will have to roll for something.
Damn.
Okay. So, Sword of Malkuth, does it require a roll?
Yes. Intelligence intimidation. And I'm gonna use a willpower point.
Okay, and whatever the result is, remove 9 successes from it.
But I'm still gonna have a success because of the willpower.
That's after the end result. It can't botch, but you can get 0 successes from this because of the way he's defending against this.
Yeah, but this is not dominate or shit like that.
I know. Just I'm aware of the full situation. I made a roll for this specific thing. Go ahead.
Beleza.
Just keep in mind, you guys are not the only ones with access to custom homebrew stuff.
Shocker, right?
You wanna be powerful? I allow you to be powerful. Just know that there's a level playing
There's always
field
bigger
here.
fish.
Okay, roll it.
She disconnected.
Oh, did she disconnect?
Yes.
It might have been by accident.
Yeah. One moment. We'll be right back. We're just gonna fix this tech issue. apologies for the tech issues. So, as Serena attempts to use Sword of Malkav on Ruark, the roll's number of successes is going to be reduced by 9. Not botching for this, but yes.
I still get 1 success, doesn't matter what.
It's for the end result, and trust me, it is reduced by 9 until it's 0 or whatever's left. So it doesn't go below 0.
One. I have 5 successes, 4 successes, I don't know.
Okay.
Unless Malkav boosted it up just for this. Because then Ruark won't be
point.
able to use
Good
Auspex.
point. 1. I'll make it. Okay. Then whatever
And
you.
the Malkavian tosses the wrench in the works. once
So
again.
whatever you roll 20
Mhm.
dice as if you were casting.
Okay.
So it's whatever
Delicious.
you rolled plus 20 dice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 10 successes.
10
Plus
success. So
willpower,
you get
11.
1 success on him. Good.
No, I get 1 success, but that's enough to basically
Yeah, I know. Trust me.
make that a reality for him,
I'm aware.
even
I'm
for
aware.
a short moment. Enough
So-
to just touch my
So,
mind.
here's what happens. Jasper, from the outside, you spot 9 specters within the army jolting up and grabbing their heads, and as they essentially scream in agony, they vanish. And then, Serena, within the room, you say this to Ruark, and Ruark begins to peer into your mind.
And straight up, it's a vision of his
As,
neck.
as soon as I see that, I telepathically connect with Olivia and say, something is happening. She's doing something. I am unsure, but 9 wraiths, specters, just disappeared.
Olivia's reaction is basically this. And as that happens, what was the specific wording on the use of Sword
It's
of Malkav?
the vampire believes they see it through memory, only
No,
to be
not the
presented with
power. The wording you used. Like what you said.
Oh, I said, I'm sure you wish to double check
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying too. And it's basically level 2. So they're presented with a vision of their death instead. And cannot use Auspex for the rest of the night.
Alright. So, as Ruark attempts to peer into your mind, you feel this almost knee-jerk reaction in your mind.
Yeah.
And Ruark's expression seems unchanged, apart from, and I will have you roll perception empathy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no successes.
Yeah. So Ruark's expression remains unchanged by this.
I would like to use something just to
Okay.
check on
What would that be?
Serena.
And as now that
hold on.
he has
Let Jasper do his thing, and afterwards we continue the scene. What do you want to do?
Red on sight, just to see if that nothing's happening. No.
Okay, we'll take care of that in the background. Okay, because it's Serena's scene, so.
Mhm.
Okay, so Serena, proceed.
So I'm going to basically do a small infodump to, like, basically memory recall of Ruark activities, including killing of Cecil and like attack on Isaac and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna speak in her mind. But again, like I know he can't use aspects for the rest of the night. Are you okay if I basically, for your own safety, make it that I've showed you nothing concerning, and it was just a prank on him since I know what I know and can't tell you. Deal?
I need to roll something for Victoria. All right. So Victoria's expression, basically her eyes are widened and you can see slight shaking in her hands, but she keeps as straight a face as she can manage. And she
And
looks
then
to
I
you
just,
and
like-
just says this, and just does this.
Wait, sorry, I didn't look at the camera.
Yeah,
What
just
did she do?
does a
She
slight
did a little
nod.
nod.
Yeah, and I just basically use a sort of Malkaf on her, and I just say, I showed you the video. I've informed you that I've shown you the fact that Therese diablerized a new fledgling of mine. And I had to get back because this was getting out of hand. The mission was a success. We did it with Isaac's pack. And I basically just give her like censored information of what I showed her, but with no like memories of key and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I tell her that you believe me, even though Skinner tits as usual, but you trust me, and you're kind of amused that Ruar got chided for his unwelcome intrusions. But there's nothing, nothing's changed for you at the moment. But you trust me, and you're quite proud of what I've achieved. Clearly, I'm a very good Cecil student.
Okay. Now, as you do this, Victoria simply seems to blink a few times and say, I think that's all we needed.
Right then.
Ruark,
well,
you can stay here for a moment. I'll walk you out, Serena.
Very well.
Ruark is visibly... He narrows his eyes towards Victoria and says, Of course, Your Excellency.
And as we start walking, I turn to Victor. I'm currently securing the domain.
So as
I
both of you begin to walk out, so just one moment, as both of you begin to walk out, Jasper, you wanted to do something before this?
Yes, as I saw the wraiths disappearing, I would turn off my sight from the wraiths and use red on sight to see if everything is fine in the room, just
Okay.
very quickly.
So, you can roll for activation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that's...
Yeah, that's a successful activation. I don't think it has any degrees of success. So,
yeah.
You basically blink, and as you blink, you get this flash piercing through the walls. You see Arturo's... You see through Arturo's flesh, though not through his bones. You see through the walls of the building, though your vision is obfuscated by the wiring within the building and a lot of the components within the walls, especially the pipes. And eventually you do see the skeletal shapes of Victoria standing up and walking towards the door, accompanying Iris. And you see the skeletal shape of what you would assume is Ruark. You notice that his entire skeleton has these weird shapes on it. Roll for perception medicine, please.
Okay. Would aspects apply to this?
Yeah, it's a perception roll here.
So 7 successes.
Okay. His skeletal structure is mostly unchanged, so whatever was done wasn't vicissitude. It was done either through magic or through, simple carving. All of his bones have these symbols on them, and you recognize them, though you don't recognize the type of rune they are. They are runes like occult in nature. And all of his skeleton has this, except for the teeth.
I
Okay.
will memorize them all.
Okay.
As we walk,
And out comes Serena and Victoria.
and as I'm talking with the Archbishop, like, so we're securing the area. What would be my new title? Because if it's as you said, Archbishop, then we'd need somebody of higher rank. I was thinking Vicus, given that he's lost his grandchild, and my mentor. It
So
would be a
so
welcome.
long as Vicus sanctions it, they are welcome to give you
He
that
has.
title.
He has.
I think you've earned
Yes.
the territory, so long as you can keep it.
I have my means. Either way, obviously, you're invited to the ceremony, and I would love to see you there.
I'll be sure to attend.
And basically, because until she attends and until we can figure out some way to protect her, right? I'm gonna keep that on her, the Sword of Malka for Yatu. Because, yeah. Because.
As Serena is exiting the room, I would just telepathically communicate with her and just quickly show an image of the skeleton of Ruar.
Yeah, Serena just barely says, yes, later. Let's go. Either way, I've been thinking hobbies. Jasper's gonna be training up and Yutsumitsu soon. Perhaps that could be someone who could join in hobby, train to be a doctor and a priest. She'll have plenty of experience. They will have plenty of experience cleaning up the domain with us.
Victoria simply nods and says, "Now, you need to go. I do have some things to attend to. I will contact you very soon. However, I also would like to request that you introduce me at some point to this Velvet that you've recruited and neglected to tell me about."
Of course. I figured that Sabbat could use soft power.
I will also need a replacement for Javier if you have any ideas in mind.
Yes, that's what yes, just like I said. Jasper is going to be training up in Yutsumitsu. I'm going to be training him in Pack Priest and Doctor's ways. And I'm sure she'll do well. A bit of common sense and responsibility goes a far way, doesn't it?
Of course. And Victoria leans in and whispers in your ear and her voice changes slightly in tone, almost taking sort of a hissing quality and becoming slightly deeper. As
Yeah.
if whatever's speaking is almost what Victoria actually is, and this whole shtick she pulls is just a facade. And she speaks in your ear and whispers, "Don't pull that shit again.
I'm sorry, I wanted to make sure that you're safe.
Don't pull that shit again." And she walks back inside.
And I basically just get back in the car and we drive off. And I ask Jasper to keep a.
I would also have turned off red on sight by
Yeah,
now.
I am assuming,
But-
because you did mention you didn't want to keep it on for very long.
Yeah, what I'm also asking Jasper to do, make sure no race can follow us right now.
Jasper looks to the other side, to the Shadowlands, make sure that they are not being followed, and if they are, he's going to ask Serena to stop the car so he can
Okay.
deal with it.
No wraiths right now.
Okay. So we basically drive off. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to text Priscus Vicus that he'll be able to come and officiate my new archbishop position. And Victoria is a very lovely.
You
Especially since archbishop.
you get a text back with 3 emojis. One is the party emoji, you know, that little horn with the confetti. The second one is sparkles, and the third one is the nail being painted.
They do be the sassiest Priscus we have.
And yeah, and basically put my phone away. And we drive as usual. Back.
Mm-hmm.
Would
Well,
we
actually,
mind clearing a bit of
actually-
business before we move to Santa Monica?
not yet. Not yet. We're gonna first quickly drop by Isaac's place. I mean,
Well, we're not
They
moving
might-
tonight.
no, we're already in Santa Monica. It's not that.
I
It's
see.
we need to make sure that Velvet is safe.
Let's go.
So basically, I need to is Velvet already with Isaac or no?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send her a text and I'm gonna say, I'll drop by quickly. You need to have certain security measures taken care of. Lest nosy people come poking about, okay?
Mm-hmm. You get a response. Basically, it's delayed. It's like 5 minutes after she reads it, and then 5 minutes after you get a response. And the response simply says, "When and where?"
I'll be at Isaac's church. And I say, in what time?
Mm-hmm. And she simply agrees. And after you plan for this, you go on with your night. And this is where we'll take a short break. And we'll continue very soon. See you in a bit. Welcome back. We join the same vehicle a few hours later as it drives to the edge of East LA. While Serena is no longer in the vehicle, Jack in the driver's seat and Jasper in the passenger seat prepare to fulfill a threat that has been coming for a long time. As they approach the library of Freya, they park the car and seem to have some time to speak before going inside.
So,
Yeah.
at La Sombra, how do you wish to proceed?
Well, we'd have to unravel the defenses first. Then you can use some of your brand of power to make her more cooperative. A lot of questions asked, or just a mind dread.
It would be better than that I go to the other side just in case. So, you're not caught in the crossfire.
Works for me.
Do you have any of those bloodstones of yours that I could take? The last time I drank your blood was I got too excited for more.
I guess I could have some.
I mean, you did drop by home to prepare and grab whatever
Yeah.
tools you needed. Like the bottle or something.
How many do you give
The
him?
bottle. I can, if he needs like 2, which is equivalent of 2 blood points,
Mhm.
or
Mm-hmm. Good enough.
So, how do you proceed?
Oh, Jesper would also have brought a bottle of water.
Mm-hmm. I ask once more, how do you proceed?
Jack would
Oh.
probably do the obnoxious and just go for the door.
Mm-hmm.
Jesper would just like to sense any magic nearby, perhaps. Any extra security outside the haven.
So just sense it, or are you doing a specific power to...
Oh, and I'd also like do the clairvoyance on Freya.
Clairvoyance, as in...
Level 6 auspics.
Got it.
I added it to my character sheet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you may roll for it.
Careful applies. It's
Uh,
perception empathy.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Pelese. 2, 3, 4.
So 4 turns.
Mm-hmm.
Jasper, what are you doing specifically?
I'm trying to sniff out any magic or butchery. I don't have any specific discipline for that, unfortunately.
Okay, so simply perception and awareness will do.
Does Auspex apply? No, right?
Nope. That is a botch, my man.
Yeah, that's a botch.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
pooped.
Jasper, you are fairly certain that Freya herself has placed something on the front door that will definitely alert her to your presence as soon as either of you engage with the door. Okay?
Jack, I
It'll
think
tell
there.
it'll tell her who you are and what you're here to do. Jack, as you use clairvoyance, 4 turns, that's about 24 seconds that
Yeah,
you
half
see
a
what
minute.
she's doing. You basically see her spending time in the library. She flips through a couple of books, then closes it, places it on a bookshelf, and at some point, what you see in your mind is her placing the final book in and then gesturing, and this part of the library almost bends into itself and vanishes.
Hmm.
Where she placed the books, it vanishes. And she takes a pile of books and continues to the next spot, waves, and another bit of the library almost unfurls to a secret section. It's clearly a supernatural thing, not a mechanical. And then your perception begins to fade, almost as if you lost attention to it.
Would you know about something like that, Jasper? And I'll project the image into his mind.
Jasper probably wouldn't know, right, Miguel? Anything about it?
Not even
Jasper
a little.
nods and negatively nods to you that he doesn't know anything. But he would say, I think there might be an alarm at the door.
Good thing I don't need to. I don't need to open it.
All right, what do you do next?
I'll wait for the Jasper to go into Shadowlands to make sure he goes as he goes properly
Mm-hmm.
because he has enough to a ticket there and then a ticket back.
Oh yeah, Jasper would drink 1 blood point from the bottle, and he would open the water bottle, dump the water on the floor, and proceed to open a path to the Shadowlands.
Mm-hmm. And you step through, and as you enter the Shadowlands, you see the image of this library, though something is odd about it. The library itself looks like an exact copy of the library from the Skinlands, which is fair enough. It's essentially a representation of it. Nothing unusual about it. However, the floor itself seems quite reflective here, which is very unusual for the Shadowlands. And as you look to the reflection, you see essentially an upside down reflection of the library going for miles and miles down.
Okay. Well, Jasper would look into the other side, into the Skinlands, and follow Jack nearby.
Mm-hmm. Jack, you are being followed. What do you do?
I'll go to the door, and if there's a shadow on the other side, I'll just do my favorite party trick.
Jasper would follow Jack.
Mm-hmm. So describe exactly what you're doing, Jack.
I'll
Essentially, the motions.
step. Yeah. I'll step into the closest shadow to the door, and oh, if someone was to look, they'd see Jack just disappears, and he'll reappear as close to Frey as possible.
Mm-hmm. And as you step through the shadow and appear in this little reading area she's shown you before, roll just very quickly Dex and Stealth.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. I'm gonna spend the willpower on that one. I'm very bad at stealth. And the difficulty is up by 1.
Mm-hmm.
Alicia?
Don't matter.
Ooh. Yeah.
You step through, and as your foot lands in this soft carpet, you basically walk in without making a noise. And you simply watch as Freya, very in her own world, seems to flip through the pages of a book, put it in, gesture, and the wall almost bends into itself, obfuscating the hidden bookshelves. She then picks up another book and begins to flip through it. She hasn't noticed you yet. Her back is to you, by the way.
Mm. Well, I'd probably have a steak prepared, so if I could, I'd just go for a backstab.
Okay. You may roll a Dex and melee for this attack,
Yep.
and you may add 2 dice to the roll.
Mm-hmm. One, two, three, four, 4.
Okay. So strength plus potence plus 3, please. And you need a minimum of 3 damage.
I know. Can I just spend 1 bot point to convert all potence?
Yep.
Yeah. And that would be strength plus 3. Uh, 1, 2, 3. Plus 3.
Yeah, so that's definitely enough. And you can pull back damage if you want. I do usually allow it. So you walk behind her, and just as she hears something and, a bit absent-mindedly begins to turn around, you just jam the stake in her heart, and her reaction is simply to almost gasp. The stake goes in, her lungs exhale all the air in them, and her eyes stare into yours as she freezes in place.
That went surprisingly simple. Do I know that Jasper can hear from the other side?
Jasper cannot hear through the Shadowlands. He can see.
Mm-hmm.
You can send him a message with your shadows, remember?
That is also true. I'll drag Freya to like a couch or something, and meanwhile concentrate on a message to Jasper. Deal with whatever's in Shadowlands.
Mm-hmm. So, Jasper, from your side, as you accompany Jack as closely as you could, you saw what was happening in the Skinlands, and I need you to roll perception and alertness, please.
Spec supplies.
No. Well, actually, yes, because you're in the Shadowlands, so yes.
So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 4 successes.
Okay. So, as you begin to see the shadows manipulated by Jack sending you this message, something catches the corner of your eye, and you turn to see the reflection of this infinite library below you. And from the windows burst small flickers of this pale blue color that you recognize is from wraiths. Only they begin to fly in your direction, and they number in tens, maybe hundreds. As they get closer, you see quite literally a mob of bats and ravens and pigeons just flying towards you. You have about 2 turns to react.
Okay. I brought something for this occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Remember
I do.
the bottle? Yeah, Jasper
Just be ready to hold on for dear life when you open it.
He's going to, pump some blood into strength.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, it doesn't suck in. It just sucks in wraiths and specters.
I'm aware.
Not.
I'm aware. Just you won't need to use strength to hold on to it, but just you'd know
For
you're
storytelling
gonna
reasons.
hold on for dear life.
Mm-hmm.
So you just open it?
I'm going to open it and hold on to something nearby that is solid. Do not get sucked in or whatever might happen.
So you begin to screw off the cork. And as it takes quite a bit of effort. It seems to be very, very sealed in. And as you begin to unscrew it, you hear this almost as if someone is pressing chalk against a whiteboard type of sound, and breaking glass at the same time. And as the cork pops out, this abject nothingness peeks at you from the other side. You simply aim the bottle at the incoming horde, and I'm going to roll for something. So this is the roll for the bottle. I want to see how many of them get sucked in. Okay, so that's definitely enough for all of them. You hold on to the jar, and as the storm within begins to reach out, almost clawing at the shadows around you, the bottle itself begins to shake violently, and you hold on to it as much as you can, feeling the vibrations on it. As the animal wraiths approach, they immediately get sucked in without a moment to fight back. And you count at least 50 going in. And as more and more get sucked into this bottle, you see the library below almost shake with the tremendous force this bottle is exerting. At some point, as you hold on to it, you feel the vibrations begin to stop, and it's almost like the bottle reaches an equilibrium as you feel a crack, and you see some glass fall from the tip of the bottle, and it loosens a bit. You can tell it shattered in half. And looking into it, there's no more storm. It stopped shaking, and there are no more wraiths to be seen.
Well, that was not supposed to happen.
It's almost like you
you
didn't really make this. It's almost like you requested this from some guy who thought
Yeah.
he was giving you exactly what you asked for.
Jasper would like to inspect a little bit better because the ritual he knows only captures the ghost, does not get rid of them. So he's going to give a quick inspection and see what's different about it.
All right. So, as you inspect the bottle, I won't have you roll because this is pretty obvious. It just wasn't visible until now because the storm was in there. But as you look into the bottle, at the bottom of it, at the base, there is a painted symbol that still has cinders of it burning, and it is the same symbol that Delmont asked Abel to write on the paper to essentially contact the demon.
So in other words, I technically kind of
Had the
either
bunch
a
of ravens
better demon
bats to
or
the demon? Yes.
You give a buffet to a demon. That's a fair assumption.
or probably he made deals with demons. Okay. Either one of those. Most likely the first. But okay, I guess. Any other ghosts appearing nearby?
None. Whatever there was, you just allowed the bottle to consume it.
Goody goody. I guess I'll look into the other side, see if Jack needs anything else before I step through it.
Jack simply seems to be waiting, I would guess. Are you
Yeah.
Jack? Or
Did anything happen? Yeah. Because
Then
interrogation is
Yeah.
good, but you know what you do to the wizard. The fingers.
also because I did see, that part of the library close up. On the Shadowlands, is that part open or is it just as unseen as into the Skinlands?
sorry, could you repeat the question, please?
The
The
folding
part of the library
space
she
library.
closed, is it still visible to me in the Shadowlands or not?
It is not, and when it was open, it wasn't visible either
Mm-hmm.
to you.
Does it look like any of the other layers of the library that I can see below?
Well, you'd have to investigate, but
Not now, I guess. I guess I can investigate after coming out and telling Jack it's okay. I guess I'll grab the bottle and step through to the Skinlands.
yeah. So Jack, after you wait for quite a while, I'd say like a minute and a half, you're quite bored. You even light a cigarette and start smoking in this library, which is something Freya explicitly told you many times not to do. You make sure she sees it while you're smoking. You begin to see a pool forming next to Freya, and off of it steps Jasper.
As soon as Jasper steps out, one of his tails cuts off the tip of the cigar or whatever he's smoking.
Cigars are
And
pretentious.
he looks at Jack and says, "Have some respect, if for the books at least, if anything else. And also,
Sure.
I might have fed a demon, maybe. Not sure."
Elaborate.
And Jasper just passes the bottle and says, "Looking in the bottom."
Yeah, Jack, you
I
recognize the
see.
symbol from Abel's, deal with Delmont.
I see. Well,
But the good news, it's free of wraiths. Also, it's much bigger on the other side.
apparently it's bigger on the inside too.
Yes, I saw her opening and closing. You should probably check how she does it by asking her with telepathy.
Well, she's staked right now. Most she can do is see, maybe hear.
I mean, if you want, I could take out some of her limbs, maybe her mouth, so she cannot speak as well.
Yeah, just for simplicity of it. But let her feel it.
Jasper looks confused by it, but says, "Alright, I'll be extra painful if that's what you meant."
Just give me a second. And Jack will leave enough blood in Freya so she can function, but not enough to put her in a big fight.
Okay. So you're gonna drink.
Yeah.
Okay. That means you're gonna get a level 1 blood bond-ish. Technically, the vinculum makes you immune to this. Rules stated.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, you drink some of her blood, and she's getting close to drained. I'm just going to have to ask you to roll self-control.
I only have I'm 4 blood down on it.
Hmm?
So I only need 4 blood to get full blood.
I understand. This is not to resist the blood. This is to
I know.
resist wanting to fucking devour her.
Yes, Pelese. I need the information.
Yeah, that's fine. You can't.
Ones don't.
Yeah,
Ones
ones don't count on
cancel.
virtues.
Yeah.
So you managed to pull away in time to allow her to survive. And you've left, you'd say, from what you feel, she's like on the brink of being empty, like running on an empty tank. So she doesn't even have enough to really heal and put up a fight or anything.
Well, let's see. And I will pull out the stake.
Mm-hmm.
Hello there.
As
Long time no see.
you yank the stake out, she screams and grasps at her chest.
So, still gonna burn the city down to kill me?
She does not answer.
I'm gonna read her mind.
All right. You may roll.
Let me see the roll.
As he is doing that,
Intelligence
Jasper is going
subterfuge.
to walk behind her, so he's out of her line of sight.
Beleşe.
That's enough.
Yeah.
So as you peer into her mind and Jasper begins to circle her, you catch the immediate surface thoughts she has. And you get a flash of an intention, an urgent intention. The only thought that really drives what she wants to do right now, or what she feels she needs to. And the thought is, it's directed towards a wooden box on the table next to her reading sofa. She's wondering if she's quick enough to get to it.
I look at it. Do I feel any magic from it?
Non-kindred magic?
Yeah, the magic of the living.
No.
As soon as Jasper notices Jack unfocusing, he moves his tendrils to go somewhat around her, but not touch her immediately, just so she can see that she shouldn't try to escape.
As soon as she spots any of the bladed tails, she almost like scurries away from them slightly in a bit of a panic and looks around almost like a cornered animal.
So, are we gonna speak, or I should just, figure it all out by myself?
She continues to look down at the floor, not making eye contact with you, and says, "It depends if I have a chance of surviving this."
Well, you always have a chance of surviving.
What are my chances if I cooperate?
Decent.
Are you lying?
Not really.
Okay. She simply says, "What do you want to know?"
Well, from what I know, many necromancers do like to work with a particular group. What do they call themselves?
I've
Any
heard
recognition in her mind?
Yeah, you reach into her mind. I'll just tell you if there's anything worth of note, but you are reading her mind while this is going on. I've heard you and your pack mention something like that. Usually when you think I wasn't listening. But no, I don't know what the hell that is.
Is she lying?
Apologies.
And you just want to continue reading the books and nothing much else.
I just want to be left alone.
But you know our secrets. That is the problem.
I don't know shit. You mind if I... And she just gestures towards the wooden box.
Well, if you tell me what exactly is it.
Just an heirloom. I'm gonna die. I'd like to be holding it. As
Just
you
for
peek into
start-
her mind, you know for fucking sure she's lying.
Yeah, I know it because I'm a part of a fairy myself.
I'm somewhat of a fairy
Jasper,
myself.
Jasper is going to start walking towards that box.
Mm-hmm.
End up getting in the middle of the way if she tries for anything.
She doesn't do anything. She just stays there. Do you do anything to the box?
No, he looks at Jack to see he is the leader on this little mission. He's waiting for their orders. The time being.
For some
Actually,
reason,
there is something I wish to do.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Do tell.
do tell.
she still has something that could be of a nuisance if she tries, which is willpower. So I would like to get rid of that.
Oh, okay.
And it also helps so she is not able to run away. So, Jasper just telepathically talking to Jack if he allows it.
Well, you feel a pressure in the back of your mind. You don't know who it's from, but you're pretty sure it's not from her, since you deprived her of the resources she'd need to make that connection.
I'll let it in.
And take a couple of steps back as Jasper is walking closer to her.
Yeah, Jack will take a step back, but there's gonna be a tentacle wrapped around her leg.
Okay, well, as you take a step back, Jack, and Jasper approaches, she notices and begins to try and move away, and essentially gets as far as she can while her leg remains in that spot. And her eyes are looking straight down. She is visibly shaking.
Jasper, as he's taking a step closer, he says, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna hurt you. Just taking precautions so you don't try anything." And as soon as he's close enough to her, Jasper is going to use Malevolent Pond.
Okay.
Pond of Malevolent Dread, I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I need to fucking read up on those rules again.
Basically, I make a kind of a pull around myself that slows down anyone and also takes away a willpower.
Mm-hmm.
Permanent willpower, one might say.
You motherfucker.
So first I need to activate, which is stamina plus occult. So that will be
Do it.
9 times. Yeah.
Do it.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 successes actually.
Cool.
8 successes to activate, and now her movement speed is slowed to 1/4,
Mm-hmm.
and she must roll willpower at difficulty 9 or lose 1 permanent willpower.
Okay. I'm gonna roll her willpower now. She actually succeeded.
Goddamn.
Oh, and this is per turn she stays in.
Yeah. So basically, as she is about to react, her eyes widen, and she basically clutches her chest for a second and seems to almost steel herself as if she nearly stopped herself from falling. What the hell do you want?
I want to. I don't know what's our guarantees since you decided to threaten me willy-nilly.
I threatened you because you know a secret of mine. And I don't want that secret getting out.
As if you don't know a couple of secrets of mine.
Which just means we best leave each other alone. Mutually assured destruction and all that.
Well, I still would like to read my books once in a while.
You got a necromancer with you. You can read all you want.
No, his library is not as excessive.
He can access mine. I can't stop him. She's definitely thinking of some workarounds, like potential workarounds to this. Almost as if she's looking for a way out of this. But it isn't technically a lie, what she's saying.
And would he
Roll.
be able to just whoosh his hand and do that neat party trick you just did with the sections?
No. But he can quite literally just walk in.
Oh, so that's where the other floors work.
And where you're gonna go?
What do you mean?
Well, you wanna stay here?
Let's be fair. If I do, you'll not let me build up my defenses again. Which means anyone in the city can just come over and kill me. So no.
Jasper telepathically talks to Jack as he says, perhaps you could make her your personal curator for your library in, well, our new place. That way she has protection. She will not build defense against us. And maybe you can use her.
Yeah, if
Of
Jack
course.
is able to reply telepathically only to Jasper, he'd say that he'd tell that Freya is unbondable.
Freya's what?
Is unbondable.
I mean, unbundleable is a thing. Not being able to escape us is another. But it's still up to you. Your blood, your choices.
Well, if you really want, we recently got into Santa Monica. You can make a library there. It'd take a while to transport it.
It could. And it wouldn't take all that long.
Well, you'd have to be employed by me, since I cannot bond you. So, my responsibility.
Yeah? Any other conditions?
We'll have to figure out something so you don't run away. I literally cannot care less that You are what you are.
As
Apart that you are of my clan.
as you say, as you make this statement, which is, quite threatening by itself, her thoughts immediately drift to the wooden box again. Specifically, you see what's in there. You see images of her intention of grabbing this necklace in there and essentially bleeding into the essentially the centerpiece of the necklace, which has like sort of a spike shape, with just pressing it with her thumb.
Since I'm in Jack's mind, I can also see that, right?
If Jack's allowing it, yeah.
Yeah.
Just to make sure she doesn't do anything stupid, Jasper's 3 tails will strike all around her, but not at her.
Yeah. Her thoughts immediately go into self-preservation. She freezes up.
And Jasper will say, I would recommend not doing anything stupid if you have any desire to live.
Of course I can wipe your memory of our secrets. Well, of some. And send you somewhere you'd be probably a bit safe.
What if I can give you something in return for my safety?
Such as?
Well, it's pretty clear you know what I'm after right now. Why don't you take it? It's more valuable than
exactly?
this entire library.
And what is it exactly?
The box. There's a necklace in there. Take it, pierce your thumb with it, and you'll summon someone. That's how I got my collection.
Any lies?
Nope. When... Do you try to peer deeper into her thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay. Then roll once more.
And
Difficulty is +1 on this.
yep. Delicious. Hell yeah.
Alright. When she says you'll summon someone, the image of that ancient that took you to the ocean pops into her mind.
That is very cute. Did he offer you anything more?
Knowledge for knowledge.
And what did he ask about?
He asked for some books on philosophy, asked for some locations, some names, and he asked about rituals.
Any specifics you want to share?
That I want to share? No.
That you could share?
That you should share.
Or you should
He came asking for access to the Shadowlands, specifically how to find someone you sired using necromancy.
I sired?
He sired.
Anything happened?
I gave him his information. He provided me enough books to build the library you saw. And we have a continuing business relationship. Which means if you take over the library, be prepared to deal with him.
I'll message Serena.
Mm-hmm. So just say the message, you will get it.
Our acquaintance also knows Freya and was trying to get into Shadowland.
You're muted.
Serena sends a response back. Listen, dominate her to gain whatever information you might need. You know, and you'd rather, like, just reclaim the blood. Best.
Very boomer object to response with thumbs up.
All right.
He's not even boomer. He was born before the
and
second
then you
war.
get then you get a post. Oh, just in case. Gather her ashes. She doesn't want to. Teach the ritual. And her current, teach any knowledge you need in her current form. I'm sure Jesper will be able eventually to summon her for you. Though I suppose for that you'd need her soul to survive. Or maybe you can learn how to draw up the memories of those you've consumed through your blood alchemy.
Another thumbs up.
It's a way experiment.
By the way, is she looking around to try to flee?
She's not looking around to try to flee. She knows fleeing is impossible. She's looking around to try and survive this situation. Her brain's racing, trying to find ways to, get out of this room alive.
Jesper will intimidate her and say, please, don't try to do any bullshit. Stop looking around. I don't want to have to accidentally, dismember you.
Manipulation, intimidation, please.
Oh.
Yeah,
What?
she freezes up, immediately.
Oh, that's a nasty fucking roll.
Actually, I'll roll something in the background, but yeah, she freezes up. Proceed.
So,
Actually, no, she only has that much. Apologies. Yeah, that's fine. Proceed.
So the way I see it, Jesper, would you need any more teaching from her?
Well, with access to all her library, I wouldn't technically need her.
Would
Though
he be
if she
able
had
to,
any...
without going to Shadowlands, access the library in full? And if she's not looking down, I'm at the... Yes. First hand, I'd say.
Do I sense Jax want to try to dominate her?
If she'd be looking up, Otherwise, he's here
Well,
too.
because if he does, this is what's going to happen. He would see Jasper's tail slowly moving towards her and slowly wrap around her head and lift up ever so fucking slightly towards you.
All right.
So she
Well,
sees
as soon as your tail like approaches her neck, something snaps in her, and she goes into raw trick, visibly trying her best to like get the fuck away from both of you. Her leg is still being held. She pushes away the tails if you don't struggle against it, and if you do, she tries to get through it. But her leg is still being held by the shadow tentacle. So much so that in her panic, she yanks, and you hear her ankle snap and begin to slip off of the tentacle. And she keeps trying to run the fuck away. Her headpiece falls, revealing her horns, and she keeps clawing, trying to get away.
Right. Jasper slowly. Well, he cannot move exactly, but since she only has 1/4 of her speed and she also broke her leg, it's not like she's getting away exactly. But he will use animalism to stop her
Oh.
from.
I forgot that Simisi
Rock
can do
trick.
that. Oh! And just as a precaution, I'll take the box.
You'll take what?
The box she wanted to use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's not paying
Yeah.
attention to the box. She's going for the exit. But, like, very, very
just in
slowly,
case.
she barely moves, really.
Yeah.
So that's 7. I will even use 1 willpower for this to soothe the beast and make her stop trying to run away, so she has her senses again.
Mm-hmm.
That's wait, let me see.
That is one
Manipulation
success, at
stick.
least.
That's 2 successes.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, that allows her to do this. Yeah. You use this power. What do you say to her while you use it?
There's no need to run. There's no escaping us, and we're not here to kill you right this second. If you try to run away, we might have to kill you.
As she falls, almost giving up, she essentially just very slowly crawls to the corner of the room, whimpering, and presses her face against the wall, almost curling up in the fetal position. She is shaking, and she's terrified.
Now, any secrets that you might have not written in your little books that I should know about? Since we're, well, discussing.
Let me see if she can regain her composure enough to answer. Yeah, she can. Her whimpers slightly dim as she manages to get some words out, and she says, "Whatever information you want that's not in the library, it's in my head, and you're not getting it without me surviving this."
That's an interesting assumption.
You're telling the Simisi that he cannot get into your head when he can physically do that. But well.
Now, is the whole library in the Shadowlands and I can access it, correct?
Quick question. Jack, you said you went for the wooden box. Did you pick it up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I will make a note. And I need to roll something. Okay.
I remember at the same time, Serena's having her encounter.
Yeah.
Can you PM me what you mean?
Well, if the box was truly connected to the mystery man,
Ah, so you're
clearly he's busy.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in that case, I'll eventually update you on your own time. But just know that at this point the guy would just fucking vanish. Yeah.
Why, if we're talking?
Hmm?
Yeah. Why, if we're talking?
Well, he'd just vanish. You wouldn't know why. He
Jack is
something
dumbass.
catches his attention and he fucking vanishes. So yeah,
Jack, you moron.
I know.
Jasper and Jack, you're dealing with a terrified Freya.
Yes, Jasper asked if in the Shadowlands he has full access to a library and no secret wards or any other powers that would keep him away.
Okay. As you ask this, a voice from behind both of you rings out. Now, what are you doing with my favorite ritual supplier? And you turn around to see the guy.
Talking.
Are you gonna kill her? I'd rather you not.
Depends. Depends.
Jasper, now finally realizing what Jack did, kind of just shakes his head down looking at Jack and proceeds to look back at her. I guess you can talk to him, Jack. I'll continue to try to have a conversation.
No. You look at me. Okay? If you're gonna kill her, well, you break it, you replace it. Yeah?
I'll find you a finest fairy this side of West Coast.
I don't fucking care about that. You kill her, I still need a supplier.
Of what exactly?
Whatever I was asking her. Can you match that knowledge?
Which is, without you saying it, what it is, we cannot answer your question.
Yeah, but I'm not trusting you. Especially with him peeking in.
Who? Is he pointing to?
He points to you, but like to your eyes.
Well, if you really need a necromancer, I know a place and a clan where those are dime a dozen.
Tell me about this place.
It is a
Jack,
another mention of Giovanni.
before you
Yep.
answer, I need to just... where'd I put him? You remember
That was
the
so
conditions
weird.
for that specific place? If that's the place
He's
you're
talking
talking
about Giovanni.
No.
He's talking about Giovanni. Oh, I actually
Probably knows about like some old place Giovanni used to possess.
Okay, here we go. Should place these in your
Oh yeah,
notes.
actually, Jack currently still doesn't know about, like the antis anything.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that's
probably
fine.
as well.
That's fine. Sorry. This should be in your notes because it's very important. Just remember those
Mm-hmm.
because Jack would remember those.
Yeah.
And proceed.
I'll tell him about some fucking mansion that was like 20 years probably ago, like used by Giovanni, which he might know
Okay.
about.
You'd
Even
also
not even
know-
in LA.
You'd also know about a theater in downtown,
Probably, yeah.
where Giovanni pretends to be a camera person or whatever.
Yeah, but that Giovanni is dead, so.
Jack doesn't
But yeah.
know, probably.
So, you tell him about the mansion?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
The information is outdated, but
the man looks to you and says, I mean, potentially, but I need a curator. Someone who has as much knowledge as she does. If you're gonna kill her, at least make sure that you can fill the role. Either yourself, or you can find someone to do.
I'll find someone eventually.
Good. Just keep in mind, it's your head on the block if you don't. And as he says this, you hear Freya, between her whimpers, basically just say, "But you said," and the man just ignores her and says, "So yeah, don't kill her unless you can replace her. Bye."
Mm-hmm.
And he looks to the side, and in the flash, like in a blink of an eye, he's gone.
Does he appear again before
Yeah,
Serena?
and
Jasper-
we'll deal with that after the session.
Jasper just looks at Jack completely annoyed. You had to touch it, didn't you?
There is a method to my madness. Apparently, it's very stupid.
Yes.
But hey. Apparently, she got a new employer for a while.
Well, we cannot kill her.
Oh, that is true. I'll crouch by her and like turn her head. No, you better not speak about my secrets. Because those tend to be exchanged in the wild. Are we clear?
With her hands shaking, she just gives a shaking nod.
Jasper would undo his Krina and still looking at Jack, looks towards her and says, "What are you gonna do now, Jack? It is your blood after all." Completely annoyed.
Well, it's gonna take a while to get a new one.
Oh, at least we can make sure she doesn't try to run away, Jasper says, as he starts walking towards her and with one of each tentacle wraps around her two arms and her leg and lifts her up off
That
the
is
ground.
true.
Yeah, the entire time you're approaching, she's trying to crawl into the corner and obviously failing. And as your tails approach, she tries to like bat them away, but it's futile. Eventually, you lift her up.
Now, Jack will take nice care of you until he can find a good replacement. Jasper says, looking at Jack. Now, where would you like to be laid down so you're comfortable? Perhaps in your...
She struggles to answer, and after a moment, she seems to freeze, and I need you to roll me wits and athletics.
It's in athletics, okay. What difficulty?
Yeah, that's... You got a 10. You don't need to ask what difficulty. Um, as she freezes, you manage to yank one of your tails away as she attempts to pull it close to bite into it, and the bite misses.
No, that is no fucking way to treat someone that's treating you so well, he says as he pulls her closer and grabs her, well, mandible, and proceeds to rip it out with vicissitude.
All right. Just make a dex and medicine roll for the vicissitude. It's just to see if it affects, because you're gonna rip it the fuck out anyway, just to see if the modification is with vicissitude or not. Yeah, it is.
3 success. Now, Jack, what do you think you should do with her? She can not speak anymore because, well, we cannot move her mandible since she has none. But she's still a fucking necromancer. How do you deal with that?
Well, simple. If I need a question answered, I can wake her up. And the state.
Yep. And in a fleeting moment, she freezes with a stake in her heart.
Jasper just sighs, annoyed by the whole situation. He says, "Why did you have to touch the box? You were doing so well until you did that."
I'm gonna order you a fake fucking passport was named Waylon Richardson. I swear to fucking God. I'll drag Freya to her private room.
No, Jasper will not allow it. We're taking her with us to keep an eye on her. We're not leaving her here. Especially after that one person was here, Jack.
Very well.
We'll start
Give me
clearing
fucking
the
hour.
library after.
Give me an hour. And Jack will start painting a door of sigils on the wall with his blood.
All right, I will make a note. Just send me a PM just to confirm what you're doing. I think I know what you're doing. But otherwise, if you guys are not doing anything else, then we can end tonight's session, and I will handle Serena's side session after.
Yes,
Are we not
just
doing
so
it?
you know. Just
Why
so you
are
know,
we not-
Jack. Jasper is taking her with us no matter what you say.
Yeah.
He
Why
is
are
at
we-
least gonna keep an eye on her. If you're not.
Why are we not doing my thing?
Because I just don't have the energy to do it straight out. And it's getting
I
pretty
want
late.
it recorded.
Okay. Then at least let's take a break.
Yeah.
Okay, that's deal.
Yeah.
Unprecedented thing happening. 2 breaks in the game.
Yeah. So, the two of you finish up, and after you put Freya's paralyzed body in the car and drive away.
No. We're not doing that.
No, Jasper is doing that. He's taking her, but he is closing her eyes and closing her ears so she cannot hear anything or see anything.
Jasper, I can make it more safe. Just
Yeah.
don't look around.
I am so sorry if I do not believe that you're capable of handling this well after this whole ordeal, you know? So, as a precaution that,
First of
the
all,
trump card
have you
that we
learned how
have,
to drive the car? Second of all, car is more traceable than Abyss.
fine. Do you want to take care of it? Sure. Remember, you said it's your head on the line, not mine.
I know.
And he would give you her against his will.
Wanna see what's on the other side?
I'm going to take a look at the library, see if there's any very interesting books to first take already.
All right. You
Yeah,
may.
it's gonna take an hour for me. Take your time.
Yeah. So, Jasper, I'll need you to roll a. Well, you're not pressed for time, so int and investigation. And in the meantime, we're going to take a short break, and we'll return very soon. All right. After some discussion, we will be ending the session for today. And we shall record Serena's scene separately, and it will be added to the VOD on YouTube. So be sure to check out the video there. On that note, thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you enjoyed season 2. We will take 1, maybe 2 weeks break, and be back with season 3 and the finale of the series. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.